Welcome to our kitchen. Today we're taking classic Halloween flavors and turning them up to 11. We've got 5 recipes that are going to blow your minds, each one featuring the star of the show, Italian beef. We're talking tender, juicy, slow-cooked Italian beef, piled high inside perfectly roasted jack-o'-lantern peppers. And it doesn't stop there, because we're going all out with creamy cheese, savory gravy and crusty bread. Get your aprons on and your carving knives ready, because we're about to get down and dirty in the kitchen. This Halloween, we're serving up a feast that's both terrifyingly delicious and bloody brilliant. Let's get started. First up, we're starting with a recipe so simple, even a donkey could make it. Preheat your oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, take your shredded Italian beef, and for God's sake, make sure it's good quality, none of that processed rubbish, and chuck it in a bowl. Next, we need some gravy. A proper thick gravy, none of that watery nonsense. Add a generous ladleful to the beef, followed by a mountain of mozzarella cheese. Don't be shy with the cheese, we want this thing oozing. Now sprinkle in some Italian seasoning, salt and pepper. Give it a good mix with your hands, get stuck in there. Grab your carved peppers and stuff them with the beef mixture, packing it in nice and tight. Pop those bad boys in the oven and bake for 25 to 30 minutes, or until the peppers are tender and the cheese is golden brown and bubbling. Serve it up with a side of crusty gravy bread and try not to burn your tongue. All right, you lot, are you ready for round 2? This next recipe is for those who like their food with a side of drama. We're talking stuffed pepper Italian beef, gravy bread boats. Even saying it is a mouthful. Preheat your oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Grab your trusty peppers and stuff them with that beautiful Italian beef. We're going for maximum capacity here, people, so fill them to the brim. Now, top each pepper with a generous slice of provolone cheese, because you can never have too much cheese. Slide those cheesy pepper boats into the oven and bake for 25 minutes. While they're baking, grab yourself some baguette loaves and slice them lengthwise. Once the peppers are cooked, carefully place them onto the baguette halves. Now, for the pièce de résistance, drizzle that gorgeous gravy all over the peppers and bread, making sure every nook and cranny is covered. Finish with a sprinkle of fresh parsley and serve these monstrous bread boats immediately. You better be hungry for this one. Chapter 3. Italian beef jack-o'-lantern stuffed peppers with cheesy gravy dip. Are you taking the piss? For this next recipe, we're taking things up a notch. This is for the real cheese addicts out there. We're making Italian beef jack-o'-lantern stuffed peppers with cheesy gravy dip. Because why have cheese on top when you can have a whole dipping pool of it? Again, preheat your oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. In a bowl, combine your Italian beef, a generous helping of mozzarella cheese and half of your gravy. Mix it all together until it's a beautiful cheesy mess. Now, take your carved peppers and stuff them with the beef and cheese mixture. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. Bake those beauties for 25 to 30 minutes or until the peppers are tender and the cheese is golden brown. While the peppers are baking, let's make that irresistible cheesy gravy dip. In a small saucepan, warm the remaining gravy over low heat. Once it's heated through, add handfuls of cheddar cheese, stirring constantly until the cheese is melted and the dip is smooth and creamy. Now that's what I'm talking about. Serve your stuffed peppers with a generous side of the cheesy gravy dip and get dipping. Chapter 4. Loaded Italian beef. Stuffed peppers with gravy bread croutons. Bloody brilliant. Now for you lot who crave a bit of crunch with your meals, this one's for you. We're making loaded Italian beef stuffed peppers with gravy bread croutons, because everything tastes better with a bit of texture. Wouldn't you agree? Preheat your oven, you know the drill by now, 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Grab your peppers and stuff them with a glorious mixture of Italian beef and that luxurious gravy. Don't hold back on the gravy, we want these peppers swimming in it. Next, top each pepper with a generous layer of cheese. You can use whatever cheese you fancy, but I recommend a sharp cheddar for this one. Now, here's where things get interesting. Take some crusty bread and cut it into bite-sized cubes. Toss those bread cubes in a bowl with some melted butter, garlic powder and dried herbs. Spread the bread cubes out on a baking sheet and bake alongside the peppers for the last 10 to 15 minutes of cooking time, or until they're golden brown and crispy. These, my friends, are your gravy bread croutons. Sprinkle a generous handful of croutons over each pepper before serving and get ready for a flavor explosion. Chapter 5: Cheesy Gravy Bread Bowls with Italian Beef Stuffed Jack-o'-lantern Peppers. Get in my belly. All right, you lot. For the grand finale, we're pulling out all the stops. This recipe is not for the faint of heart. We're making cheesy gravy bread bowls with Italian beef stuffed jack-o'-lantern peppers. It's as epic as it sounds. Preheat your oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Take your carved peppers and stuff them to the brim with that incredible Italian beef. We're not messing about here, we want these peppers overflowing with flavor. Next, drizzle those stuffed peppers with a generous amount of gravy. Remember, gravy is the glue that holds this whole operation together. While the peppers are getting cozy, grab your bread bowls and brush the insides with melted butter. This will create a barrier and prevent them from becoming soggy. Place the stuffed peppers and the bread bowls in the oven and bake for 25 minutes. The peppers should be tender, the cheese should be melted and bubbly, and the bread bowl should be nice and warm. Carefully place each pepper into a bread bowl, making sure they sit snugly. Sprinkle a generous amount of grated Parmesan cheese over the top and serve immediately with extra gravy for dipping. This, my friends, is a Halloween feast fit for a king. And there you have it. 5 delicious and spooky jack-o'-lantern stuffed pepper recipes that are perfect for any Halloween gathering. From the classic stuffed pepper to the epic bread bowl creation, there's a recipe here for every level of Halloween enthusiast. So what are you waiting for? Get yourself to the kitchen and whip up these terrifyingly tasty treats. Your taste buds will thank you for it. Try them out and let us know which one is your favorite. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any more of my devilishly delicious recipes. Happy cooking!